Hello, hello everybody. Great to have you here. My name is Kirsten Werder. I'm the Chief People Officer at Yunex Traffic. Yunex Traffic is a company that provides intelligent mobility solutions around the globe. For example, traffic lights, traffic management systems, but we also do big, large-scale projects in tolling or building a new tunnel and managing the traffic there. So that's us, and we have 3,500 people globally in 24 countries, where we provide our services and sell our products. I'm very, very excited to be here because today is the International Women in Engineering Day. And as you might know, and you might have also seen in the post, we still have too little women in engineering and in tech in general, which is a pity because, as you will see, I brought one man and 5 amazing women, one amazing man, sorry, Dirk, and five amazing women with me. The topic of this year's Women in Engineering Day is engineering intelligence, and that actually describes very well the people that I have with me. The aim of this talk is to understand, first of all, what's happening in engineering and how is the work perhaps shifting, and what do we actually do, right? What does a real engineer do in these kind of companies? So that's the first thing. The second thing is we want to talk about what's changing, right? How are careers evolving, skills evolving? And then the third point is diversity. So why even more in these times, diversity is important. That's the theme, and I'm not alone, luckily enough. So I would ask the rest of us to come to the screen and introduce yourself, starting with Verena.
Yes, thank you. I'm Verena. I started my career at Yunex in 2011 as a dual student, and today I lead the largest of our traffic engineering teams in Germany. And alongside my engineering role, I serve as AI manager for Germany, helping teams turn AI into practical solutions that create a real value. And what excites me most about engineering is that it never stands still, especially in mobility. We're constantly learning, adapting, and solving challenges that have a real impact on our everyday life.
Hi, everybody. My name is Dirk Bedermann. I'm head of system engineering in Germany. With 3 teams in Germany, we are focusing on traffic planning and programming of our traffic signal systems. So my role is less about creating a single solution myself, but more about enabling our teams to turn complex technical ideas into real-world impact at scale. What excites me most about engineering today is that we are no longer just solving technology problems. We are shaping how people move through cities every day. So from AI-driven optimization to smart intersections, our work has a real visible impact on everybody. So for me, engineering today is really about combining technology, impact, and people.
Hi, I'm Elle. I'm the Chief Product Owner for Enforcement in the UK. I'm the R&D lead for the Yunex Enforcement portfolio. In my role, I sit across both the Enforcement Business Senior Management Team and the UK DOP Engineering Management Team to bridge business strategy and also engineering execution. I've been with Yunex/Siemens for almost 10 years, where I started on the Siemens graduate program as a graduate engineer. And what excites me most about engineering, particularly the engineering that we do here at Yunex, is that it makes and has real good world impact. It's about making the world safer in a very subtle way, and it's kind of that lovely hidden engineering of mobility where as long as you don't really notice it, then that means it's working very well.
Hi, I'm Karen Foster. I'm a proposal manager with Yunex Traffic. My background is in mechanical engineering, and although I trained as an engineer, I discovered that I had more of a passion for translating technical concepts into clearer, more accessible content. which ultimately led me to become a technical writer. And then I moved into proposal management. I've only been with Yunex for just over 2 months, but it's been a great opportunity so far. And while I'm not in the traditional engineering role, what really excites me with engineering is seeing the diverse opportunities an engineering degree can offer. And one of the things I really love is that engineering equips you with a way of thinking. So whether you're designing a system or managing a project or writing a proposal, the problem-solving skills that you learn stay with you throughout your career.
Hello, I'm Karen, and my background is IT and civil engineering. And this combination of these two disciplines is called ITS. It's Intelligent Traffic Systems. And that's also my main interest and where I also completed my PhD a long time ago. And my first full-time stop was a researcher at the Technical University dealing with ITS topics. And after some years, I decided to switch into the industry. And I started at Siemens ITS, which is now Yunex, more than 15 years ago. So my family team consists of my son and my husband and me. And my at Yunex, I'm happy to leading the team of the department for system engineering and innovation for the Central Europe Hub. And what I find it's amazing that the engineering is interdisciplinary. So you have so many chances to be creative to finding new solutions.
Amazing. Thank you all for being here. And very selfishly, some of you I know, some of you I don't know. So I'm really excited also to get to know all of you a bit better and hear your views on today's engineering and where this all leads to. As you might have heard, for the people who listen in, there was quite a bit around having impact. That's because the key, right, of our purpose at Yunex is we care for our planet. So we are all very much driven by having positive impact in the world. That's why this came up. The other thing I want to mention is you see one team, same dream. That's actually part of our values. And that's how we feel here, right? Although we are global, we are following the same dream. With that, I would love to start with the first questions. So the first question is around what is happening in engineering and how is this evolving the work that you are doing. So I'm interested, and I would ask Karen, Kay, and Verena first. What actually does your day-to-day work look like, right, today? And how are things evolving, especially around AI? I can imagine, right? We are still at the beginning, but lots is happening. Verena.
Honestly, my days look quite different from what many people imagine when they think about engineering. As a head of engineering in the mobility, a lot of my time is spent in connecting people, information, and technology, all of three. Working with engineers, project teams, customers, and different business functions just to solve complex challenges together as one team. And one thing I've noticed is that a lot of our engineers today spend a huge amount of time searching for information, have time in documentation, dealing with the increasing complexity. And I think there's where AI is starting to make a real difference. It helps us to find the information faster, automate routine works, and reduce manual effort. So for me, the biggest shift is that technology is giving engineers more time to focus on the really creative values and works because they have to solve problems, making decisions, and driving innovations.
How much has your job, how big is the interface of your job to the customer? How can I, imagine this?
Mm-hmm. We start very early. We plan with our customers. So if they have some problems or some ideas, for example, they have a new place for a supermarket, they need new traffic lights because there's increasing traffic at this place. And we start and plan with our customers. After that, we program and create the intersection, how the intersection is working, intelligent or less intelligent. And after that, we create also the technique documents, and after it's running, also to look if there's any potential to make it better. Because what I create today, maybe in a month, in a year, in 10 years, everything has changed, and then the intertraffic or the green wave or anything else isn't the same and doesn't work for the problem what our customer wanted to solve.
Very good. So you are close to the customer, even as an engineer, right? So to say, and also it seems like things are changing quite a bit. Karen, as you are right in the area of innovation, so how does your day look like, and what do you see changing, and perhaps also right on AI?
Yeah. For me also, no 2 days are the same. I agree to Verena that we have a close together with our customers, because we have to generate and develop new concepts, new solutions, new smarter mobility and traffic solutions for the customer, not only on traffic and also on traffic safety, where we have our technologies to put into the field in a good way. So we have to have a solution for the traffic problems. And in my opinion, using AI tools in our work is a challenge to stay focused on the goal, if what we want, and not to produce digital bullshit. Sorry for that, but the goal is the same with different aspects and different developments of technologies. But the AI tools help us for doing the regular activities and the automated tasks which use or need and take many huge amount of time. So when we have the chance to concentrate on what we as human engineers do best, finding new paths, new concepts, new solutions, being flexible, thinking freely, and generate and understanding the complex relationship, then we are on the right way with AI.
Very good. Thank you, Karen. Perhaps moving from what you are doing, what we are doing day to day, a bit into what is the impact of what we are doing. And Elle, I wanted to ask you first, do you have a concrete example how your work creates concrete impact?
Yes, so within enforcement at Yunex, we do a variety of solutions. We have our civil enforcement, which is what we have is like bus lanes, blocking of junctions, reducing that, ban turns, civil movements with vehicles where you want to prevent road users doing it to increase the safety of the road and ensure that the access is correct. But then also we do tolling solutions, we do clean air zones, road user charging. ULEZ within London is a key example of our biggest version of a low emission clean air zones that we serve. So there's a lot of impact. You see ultimately that on the surface, the solution looks quite simple. Put a camera on a pole and then send the records up and someone reviews it and sends it out. But there's a lot of complexity there to ensure that the system works accurately and that the right people get the right tickets. Unfortunately, yes, we do send the enforcement tickets out, but it's all about keeping the road safe. And you can see a lot of data through our customers and through our schemes that when we do put enforcement in place, that it does improve road safety, and not even just safety from a
Okay, which is good to hear, because I guess people don't really like you for that, right? Getting tickets, but on the other hand,
I didn't mention the speed cameras, because usually it doesn't make you very popular. Apart from when people ask you if they can be put on the permit list, but unfortunately we do not control those as Yunex. That's all with our customers.
Yeah, but still, right, as you said, it's about safety and having a cleaner environment. So a good cause after all, even though we distribute tickets. Very good, Dirk. What about you? Do you have an example of real world impact that you create in Germany?
So my direct impact probably is not that visible, but so mobility is one of those areas where engineering impact becomes visible immediately in people's daily life. So my team is working on planning and programming traffic signal systems, optimizing them in urban areas, and by improving the signal time and coordination, so we can significantly reduce congestions, shorten travel times, and also lower emissions. So that's our impact, and this affects to everybody. And that's really interesting, since I think it's not really theoretical, because these effects are for everybody there. And in my role, my job as a head or team lead of engineering is to enable the people to deliver these outcomes at scale. So to provide a environment where they can think, speak up, where they can interact and exchange their knowledge in order to provide best solutions.
And do you get in your role also the chance to kind of consult our customers? So in order for them to see with our products how they can best help creating this impact?
It's not my main focus, since the engineers have the closest contact to our customers, but in some cases, so if we have some general discussions about solutions and so on, I'm also in contact with our customers in order to provide our ideas, our solutions for them.
Okay, and then I guess also very close to our customer team, that
Right.
then is the key contact. Yeah. Thank you so much. Which leads me to my next question. And Karen V, I would want to start with you. What do you like most in your position and your work?
In my role, I find that it's the intersection between engineering, project management, and business development. So it's kind of bringing all of those fields together and bridging the gap between the experts in those fields. So helping translate more complex engineering solutions into a clear, compelling proposal. And even though I'm not traditionally using my original engineering skills, I still heavily rely on the problem-solving skills and the critical thinking skills that I really enjoyed applying when I was studying. And I'm just applying it in a different context now. So that's something that I really enjoy about my job. And what I find really rewarding with proposal management is when people ask me, kind of, why do you like proposal management? I say that it's like bringing a complex puzzle together, and the enjoyment of it coming to life is what I really enjoy about proposal management. So it's kind of the same feeling that you have when you design and engineer a final product. My final product is just a proposal. And then I think it's a great example of how an engineering degree can open up many more doors that you never knew existed. When I went into my field of study, I had no idea that this would be a career opportunity for me. And looking back, I couldn't imagine doing anything else.
That sounds amazing. You know what, as I have you here, we have incoming questions. And perhaps as you see all these bits, right, what kind of problems do your customers have that we try to solve is the question. So can you just give us 1, 2 examples? What's the typical in the US, right? The typical problem we try to solve?
The interesting thing is that I don't think that there's even a typical problem, because every proposal that I've worked on so far has been vastly different. But one that I'm working on right now is connected vehicle applications, where we're installing roadside units at the intersection, and then onboard units in vehicles to support getting snowplows through intersections a lot faster, so that they're not having to stop at a red light and use a lot of energy to restart when they have a plow filled with snow. So that helps clear the roads quicker. It improves safety on the roads because the snow isn't causing as much havoc on the roads. And another application in that is providing buses with priority. So earlier green lights, so that the buses are staying on time, on schedule, and kind of just improving public transit. So that's just one example. I could speak on this for a long time, but I'll spare you all.
Very good. Liz, we have you, and before you say anything, please introduce yourself. I don't know why we were so busy already getting into it. We had one left.
Yeah. Okay. Well, my name's Liz Hoffman. Hi, everyone. I have been working for Yunex since 2018 in the Netherlands office. And I am working as a software engineer. So in this case, it's I'm programming PLCs and also creating SCADA interfaces. This is so that the operators for various traffic systems across the Netherlands can keep an eye on what's going on. That ranges from road tunnels, train tunnels, the metro station system. And we also, that's what I've primarily worked on, but we also do bridges and locks and that kind of thing as well. Yeah, so taking all of the information about what's happening in these traffic systems and presenting it for the operators to monitor in real time. The thing that excites me the most about engineering these days, I think actually a few of the other panelists mentioned it as well, it's just that you have the potential to really make an impact to everybody's quality of life and well-being, and also safety. Yeah, we can solve some problems and really improve life for people in those aspects.
Very good. So what do you like most about your job, right? Working on big projects. I can imagine it's quite complex, right? To steer such a big project.
There's often a lot of components. Yeah. I was working with the client over the weekend, and it's very cool to be sitting there with them, looking at the system that we've made, and you're just monitoring. Yeah, you can see what's happening over the entire city, for example. Yeah, that you can really see the impact of what you've been doing, what you've been working on. And aside from that, it's also just I like that there's a lot of variety in what I do. So you start from the design phase, and you really are kind of like trying to puzzle out exactly what the client's looking for, and then how you're going to do that, and then you get to go through all of these phases and eventually actually deliver this thing to them, which works. Yeah.
Yeah. And can you, because right, the large scale project is a bit different of delivering intersections or traffic lights to our customers. Can you talk about what the typical problems are that we try to solve for our customers? So what did you look at when you looked at the weekend at the traffic management?
Yeah, so for example, over the weekend we were installing a new station system, a new metro station system. Yeah, that's not a problem as such. It's just the city keeps improving and expanding and upgrading, which is great. Yeah, problems we're trying to solve.
Why do they upgrade? To make the metro traffic running smoother and better?
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
But that would be the topic.
Dealing with handling, more people want to use the metro, sort of make it easier to access, and handle greater passenger numbers, which is always great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very good. Now, very concrete, great examples. Thank you so much. Then I would move to the next big buckets of topics, which is around how is engineering actually evolving, how are careers evolving. We already heard about very different careers, right? Even moving from engineering to proposal management. So Dirk, over to you, right? How have engineering careers from your perspective evolved over time?
That's an interesting question. So since I'm more than 20 years now in the role or different roles here, and in the past, engineering were often seen as a quite linear and technical career. So, for example, you started as a junior engineer, became an engineer, a senior engineer, then an expert, and stayed there. And so, what has changed in the last 10 or 20 years? That it's not that linear anymore, so that it's more interdisciplinary and dynamic, all these careers. So it's not only about engineers to understand the technical aspects, also in order to collaborate across functions, to communicate with stakeholders, and also adapt new technologies like AI and so on. So it's not just a straight ladder as in the past. It's something like, let's say, a network of opportunities. And what also has changed from my point of view is that the career paths are not longer one directional. So people move between roles. So I did it in the past as well. I had different roles. I was not all the time here in the engineering department. So they move from engineering to product management, to project leadership, and also maybe to people leadership. And some are coming back. And the advantage is that they bring their experience back in different roles. And this is quite essential and also quite important. And this has changed in the last year. Right. That's
Do you see some skills that are getting more important, be it more soft skills or technical skills than they have been before?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of this about communication, integration of stakeholders, be open for different opinions in order to get good solutions. This is more important now than the past. So in the past, everybody thought as an engineer, so I have my technical view and that's all, but now you have to interact more and communicate more.
Okay. Karen Crusher, what do you see, right? How did careers evolve?
So maybe Dick said a lot before. So I only want to add, in our point of view at Yunex, it's clear that the technological developments influences our work amazing in a huge amount. New sensors, new possibility in communication, new possibilities to transmit huge amount of data, and now we have new opportunities and to make our solutions smarter. But the core functional goal remains the same. We want to implement better mobility and traffic solutions. So we have new opportunities, and we have to make our focus a little bit broader, to make it involve more disciplines, to speak with different stakeholders, to explain our solutions on different levels. It's not easy to understand our solutions in our own, also for the other people. So that's different to the beginning 20 years ago.
Okay, so also a bit communication then, if it comes to skills, right? And ensuring that you make very complex things very easy to understand, and not also for our customers, I guess. As you seem to be an expert, there was a question on what is intelligent about, right, the intelligent traffic solution. So what would you say, right, in easy words for people to understand?
In easy words, the intelligence of a solution is to have an overall system, an overall solution to integrate all components, not to be focused on one part. You have to make a solution in a broader way. So, for example, as we spoke before, the vehicle-to-X communication is a new technology which can influence the public transport, the traffic safety, and so many other disciplines and other problems. So we have to integrate it all together and understand this solution and these possibilities. That's what I say. It's intelligent, and where we can use technology for different solutions.
Can you explain vehicle to X for people who have not come across this term?
The new way of traffic management is not to make it only from the infrastructure point of view. You have to collaborate with traffic members on the street, also the vehicles, the cyclists, the pedestrians, and the vehicle-to-X communicates and exchange data for a better traffic management.
Thank you. Thank you. Very clear. Thank you very much. So the next question is around skills and mindsets and how they evolve. And Liz, I would love to hear your view on that one. How do right skills and mindsets, from your perspective, what kind of change do you see? What's getting more important? Communication, we already heard.
Yeah.
Given the complexity, what else do you see?
So obviously, AI is becoming the thing that people are talking about a lot, and I think there is quite a lot of benefit to it. But I guess the big mindset for me is that, AI is the current example, but you just really have to have this kind of growth mindset so that you can take AI or whatever the next thing is, and that you kind of pursue the sort of the current technology, because as the industry changes, it will just keep changing, and you have to be you have to have the right mindset to change with it.
Can you, as we are on the topic of AI and how to use AI, there was a question around how do you very specifically use AI in your daily work? Can you give us one or two examples? What's the most effective for you?
I'm not using it a ton yet, but I see a lot of potential for it in the the kind of for example, things like writing test protocols, for example, for our software. That is a job that nobody really likes. And it is it's something that I think AI would actually be very good at, because it's not too complicated, but it does require, a bit of thinking. That's one I hope it can pick up anyway.
Okay, very good, very good. Thank you, Liz. Elle, perhaps you have also very concrete example, because I think if you come on in bit, do you have examples of how you use AI?
Yeah, so for myself, I'm at the moment working with variant AI tools on a day-to-day. So in the UK, we're doing our initial full product development with agentic AI, which is a redevelopment of our civil enforcement processing system, essentially what processes data, getting it from the camera to the end third party at the end, where we send the data out the other side. So with that, it's been a big change and quite a challenge, because we're utilizing spec-driven development tools to allow us to develop faster and understand and move forward. And it's been really great and exciting, and seeing how the engineers within my team have been adapting and taking it on. It's completely changed their day-to-day. It does pick up some of those admin tasks which nobody enjoys doing. For me, as a product owner, it's we have a lot of user stories, task management, explaining what the software engineer needs to do, and it's fully optimized that process. I think I've created about, and read them all, this is a very key part with the AI, is about over 600 work tasks in the last month to allow us to rebuild a system in a short amount of time. But a key thing there with the reading is that AI, it will optimize and give you a lot quicker, but there's still a human brain on the other side of it. And our systems are complex, and they are not, we're not building apps that have a shelf life of a year. We're building stuff that has to be maintainable for a long period. Therefore, you have to spend as much time. The job isn't reducing in any way because of AI, but you're changing what you're spending your time in, ensuring that what you're asking for is clear, your user and customer needs are translated correctly, everyone understands, and you're looking at things as a whole. I found it quite interesting as coming from the product ownership side, product development, solution architecture has been what my roles have spanned across my time at Yunex. And for that, my mindset has always been with the user and customer, and having to explain that, translate that, engineering translation, trying to, from business speak into what engineers understand. And with spec-driven development, it's like a lot of people are coming up to that level and seeing it from that perspective. So you're trying to guide people to follow that, and also
what else would you say, right? The change in software development that you described using AI, right, for some of the tasks. What is the skill that people need as opposed to what they did before in writing the code themselves? What do you think are the skills they now need, right, to better use AI to develop?
So I think they need to have adaptability, reading and understanding skills, ownership mindset in terms of with AI, as we say in UK, is that you are, and be careful with this term, but it's responsible for what the AI produces. It don't talk about, oh, so-and-so generated that, so I'm not sure what it is. That doesn't fly. You have to understand what it's done, and we still have to be responsible for what it's doing. So and collaboration. So with things being able to produce much quicker than what we have done before, is the example on the project I'm working on. We're doing weekly stakeholder reviews with internal customer and external customer to keep them in the loop, check that we're doing the right thing, is this going solving the right problem. So you've got to be able to communicate and collaborate with people, and so product ownership as a role has always been a bridge between very technical engineers and business strategy and pulling that together. And it's now that the engineers on the other side are probably much closer to customers and users than they were before, because that used to go through a translation layer. So you've got to be open for that. And it is the adaptability point of view. There is a lot of scaremongering, of lack of better term, around AI and what that will change about engineering roles or reduce scope of roles, whereas as someone that's been working on a project which has been centered around it, that's not what I'm seeing, particularly within our industry, based on the complexity of our systems, because you still need people to understand what the system is doing and how we can problem solve on it and how we can keep it maintainable for long periods.
Okay, no, understood. Thank you, Elle. Impressive what you already do there. I didn't know all details, so good to know. Verena, then I would ask you the next question, which might be interesting also for our audience, right? So what advice, given of what we heard on career changes, right, AI and the skills you need now, what advice would you give a young engineer that wants to start the career?
My advice would be, don't wait until you feel 100% ready, because looking back at my own career, I started as a dual student, joined an engineering team. In the age of 26, I was given the opportunity to lead that same team, and I was the youngest manager in the region, one of a few women in a very male-dominated environment, and suddenly leading people who were older and far more experienced than me. And I must be honest, I probably didn't fit in the traditional image of many people had of an engineering leader. So did I feel 100% ready? Definitely not. But what I learned from this experience is that competence, reliability, and results matter much more than fitting in a stereotype. So over time, the people don't remember how you look, but they remember how you lead, how you solve problems, and how you support your team. And I've learned that confidence doesn't come before taking on challenges. It comes after taking them on. So if you are considering a career in an engineering team, maybe in a mobility engineering team, don't wait for the perfect moment, and don't let other people's expectations define what you can achieve. This field is all about learning, growing, and taking opportunities as they come.
Thank you. I think it's a good point. And what I've seen in my career, especially for women who sometimes think they need to be perfect before they can take on anything. Thanks for this advice. Very relevant. Karen V, what's your view?
Yeah, I think I'm going to echo a lot of what was just said now, but there was something I wanted to bring up with regards to AI, and one of the things and pieces of advice that I can give, and it's something that I heard a number of years ago, but I still think it's very relevant today, is that AI is not going to take your job, but someone who knows how to use it might. So it's important to understand how to grow with those tools so that you can stay relevant in the industry. But in terms of advice for someone considering starting engineering, I would say don't underestimate yourself. It can be incredibly daunting and challenging considering a career in engineering. It is a demanding field of study. And there's times that you'll need to make sacrifices, and there'll be a lot of perseverance, but it is absolutely worth it. As a woman in engineering, there were times where I often felt like I was on the back foot in comparison to some of my peers, which I found challenging at times. And there were moments that I found that resilience was more or just as important as my technical ability. But earning the degree is an achievement that no one can take away from you. And that, I think, is what really got me through engineering. And it has opened up so many doors for me. And the world is really your oyster with this kind of degree. You don't have to peg-hole yourself into a particular career. Like Dirk said, you can work on multidiscipline teams. You can make your way through different areas of a company and provide your valuable skills that you've learned with problem solving and how to tackle challenges head on.
Okay, seems something also around, right, being open and right, explore all the different areas you could then be part of, and you learn anyhow on the job, right? Even though you have a degree in a certain area. Thank you so much. So we would move to the last bigger topic around why are diverse perspectives and female technicians in any role so important. So Dirk, question to you, right? You are the man and you have women in your team. So how do diverse teams collaborate perhaps more effectively? And that's what research shows actually. On what is the role of women that they can play, right, in allowing this?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting question. So the challenge we have today, they are not really isolated technical questions. So usually we have complex problems, and for this we need multiple perspectives, and perspectives are even better if you have different point of views, if different people with different background thinking about these topics. And if you would like to collaborate in a good way, I think from my point of view there are at least 3 topics important, maybe also more. But first is clarity on the shared goal. Then you need mutual respect for different expertise. And third, that's also important to have an environment or a great environment where people like to speak up and bring in their own opinion. And that's quite important. And then we have good collaboration if we follow these 3 topics at least. And in terms of women, so I think it's quite important to have also women in engineering. So when I started in this position where I'm now heading the system engineering in German, we had about 10% women in my team. Now, after 5 years, we are about 20% in the team. and two of my both team leads are women. So Verena is one of them. And this is also good because there's a positive impact on the collaboration. So in terms of communication and bringing people together, and also bringing in different perspective at the end of the day. And I think it's in general discussion not about men versus women. It's about having diversity of thinking, so having different people, different groups of people in the team, in the community.
Yeah, bringing different perspectives. Thank you, Dirk. Verena, perhaps as there was a concrete question on your leadership, right? So the question for you was, how do you interpret leadership? And that could also lead into the right, why are women as a leader sometimes helpful, always helpful, perhaps sometimes more than men, which I would say. Didn't want to say it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. I think the point what Dirk said, you need different perspective, and I learned that too, because for example, when I introduced a more standardized way of working and managing our engineering data across my team, I intentionally brought together people with different levels of experience and age, so to shape the solution for the whole team. And the result was much better because it was reflected of the different needs, perspectives, and way of thinking, especially with the different ages. And that's also how I see the role of a woman in engineering teams, as an engineer and as a head of engineering, because I have spent many years as the only woman in my team. And I've learned that representation matters, not because women automatically think differently, but because better solutions emerge when different perspectives are part of the whole conversation. So for me, the key point is more diverse. The more diverse the perspective around a table, the stronger will be the outcome. And also in the leadership, because often we have you see in the last years male-dominated leadership, and here it's also the diversity really matters.
Thank you, Verena. So the question on, no, gone she is. I will come back to you, Liz. So why we had it right? It's all about different perspectives. Why do they get more important these days, right? And Dirk said that, Verena said that. So why is it so important, even more perhaps than before?
I mean, I think the research has shown that, a team with more diverse perspectives is able to be more creative, to be more innovative. You have people coming in with different backgrounds, different experiences, and they're able to bring different ideas, different solutions from all of these different places, and come up with something new, come up with something better.
And what do you think? Why is this even more important than it was in the past?
Maybe because our problems, systems are getting more complex. Problems need to be, a little bit more. You have to have kind of the bigger picture in mind sometimes, and with more people, more different perspectives, then it's easy to. It becomes easier to take all of the different kind of angles, and really get a good solution that is gonna handle all the complexity.
Well, why is it getting more complex? That was also another question we were having before.
Yeah, I think just because as technology develops, we are able to get more information, so we are able to make our systems, smarter. We're able to take more into account as we into the solutions and into the systems that we're creating.
So also what Karen said before, right? That we more and more offer full solutions where we do not only have a traffic light, but there's a camera, and then there's an eye solution, and there's the V2X, so it all plays together, so it's more complex, and therefore you need to have more perspectives to solve these complex problems. very good. I think that was very clear, right? That we need diverse perspectives, and definitely women typically bring them in. I also heard from before, you didn't mention that, but communication is getting more important. And I'm only talking in biases, right? Every person is different, but typically, right, also research says that women are a bit more communicative as men. So that's also something, right, where we can profit. Very good. Now I want to move to the last question right away. Karen, what needs to change to attract and retain women? And then the other question was that come from the planner, from the audience, is what do we do as a Yunex to make sure we bring more women, perhaps even into studies and then into our field?
I think we have to start at the early beginning of education. When I was a young girl, 30 years ago, I decided to not to follow to the traditional career path expected by women. So I want to learn technical things. So that was not so, my parents were not so happy about that, because they can't imagine what I'm doing for the future as a young girl. So I didn't know what IT means at that time, but I know what I don't want to do. So it was the chance to do what I'm interested, but I have no clear view about that. But I tried. So, and then I went in this direction and come from next step to the next and to the next. And I think my recommendation is that if a young girl has an interest on technical things, so it don't be worried, go in this direction and in this technical field, because it doesn't matter what you learn. Engineering, for example, is so interdisciplinary. If you have any idea and you are creative and have and you are happy with generating new ideas, so you are right in this technical field of engineering.
As I suppose we have mostly engineers, hopefully, here in the room, right? So it's then perhaps more something for their daughters.
Yeah, for their daughters, but we have to support this, because we have to have to make it visible, this role model in early education. So I have a son, I have no daughter, but if I would have a daughter, I say go into this technical field, because it's amazing.
Yeah. And I mean, there are more women at university in technical subjects, right, than we see actually, unfortunately, in companies. So therefore, right at the moment for us is then the question, how do we at least pull the women that we have coming from university into Yunex? Do you have any observations from your daily work, right? What works to get women in your team?
I started with no woman in my team. So I was the only one, because it was and typically few, because it was the years before also. In every customer meeting, most of the time the only woman. But now I have two in my team. And I see that also on the customer side, there are a change. I have also women on the customer side. The head of departments are now more and more is a woman. Yeah, and so that's very good for another way of working together, because I like this before, when we say have the focus on and have the big picture in mind. I think that's a very advantage of an focus of a woman.
Yeah, thank you. So the last, unfortunately, we are nearly at the end. anything to add when it comes to attracting, integrating, getting more women on board?
So a lot of that comes from inclusivity and representation. So with this question, I thought a lot about my own career and how I got to where I am. And I followed through with engineering, design, technology from school. And it wasn't until I got to university that I realized how male dominated it was. And I was a bit like, hang on a sec, there's only 5 women on this course versus 60 men. But that kind of was beautiful naivety, because in my household growing up, my parents were very supportive of me following what I wanted to do. I liked design and I was quite creative, so I just carried that through all my studies and carried on. At school, it wasn't necessarily a big male-female divide in that, so we didn't see that, and I just carried on, and because I was good at it and I enjoyed it. And at university, I kind of kept that useful naivety with it, where I was like, well, I'm good at it, I'm going to carry on. I'm not really focusing on the fact that I am maybe the only woman in the team, or maybe I am the only woman in the room. And that is also something I've carried on with throughout my career as I have moved up into, and now in my leadership position. There are less women, much less women, and quite commonly I am the only woman in the team. The engineers I work with mostly directly, there is only a few women versus the majority men. And the one thing that I think is key is you just don't allow that divide to be seen. I still go into meetings now and I introduce myself in my role, and there's still surprised looks on faces and saying, oh, you're the R&D lead. And it's like, yes, I am. And I did notice that you were surprised by that. And you have to build a resilience to ignore that within yourselves, because it is a small percentage of people that still do notice. But as a business, we just have to not be surprised that women are in the room, and ensure that we're showing and representing the women that we do have within the business, because it is so important. And the diverse teams, that also not only are they important for outcomes, but there is a big part of working engineering is a really fun job. It's a incredible role to be able to do. You essentially get to play for a living and come up and solve problems and try and work out solutions. And the more diverse the team, the more fun it is. And we just want to have more women around and more diverse people, just to be able to keep it fun, keep it interesting.
Thank you, Elle. And my experience is that indeed already you guys, right, in your positions, you are role models, and typically this attracts more women, right? If they see that this works and that they are great women and they have to say something. So unfortunately, we are nearly at the end. We could talk and talk. There's so much to say. And thank you so much for listening in. And thank you so much for my co-panelist for answering the questions. So what did I learn? And thank you for the learning opportunity. First of all, it seems like no day is like another. It's a very broad range. It does not get boring in your roles. It also seems like there are very different roles you can play with a tech background at our company. We talked about your impact you are having, right? Given the products we do, it's about road safety, it's about cleaner environments, and we do that in many different ways and projects. And then we talked about careers and how careers and skills change. So the key is that I learned it is the product solutions that we are offering, the digitalization, new technologies, and so on. Everything is getting more complex. And this, right, we need to handle. So it's a lot about communication, being able to translate whatever we do, the complexity into simple words so that others understand it. We talked about AI, right, and how to use it and how this changed what we expect from people, a growth mindset. You need to be adaptable. Again, here, right, it's about translating and judging what you get out of AI. Ownership mindset, you mentioned, it's not AI, it's you. So very interesting developments. And then the last discussion was, what are we doing at Yunex and how can we support? And thanks for the questions as well on that one from the audience. What can we do to support? So we did this today, right? Obviously is on top of our minds. This was indeed focused on gender diversity. We picked the people around the globe that we thought fit. We did not really, right, look at the other diversity topics today, but within Yunex we definitely do that. Lots to do, right? As many of you panelists told me, you are the only one or have been the only ones. We are working on that. We introduced a KPI on how many women we have in tech, because I think this is really important. And we have a bunch of measures to improve the numbers here. Thank you so much to all. It was great to have you. See you soon.